Bam! Oh, I'm on live. I've been on video so much today. uh, so I just finished a podcast and I just had to share it. I just had to hop on here and share it. Why? Because it was a podcast with a guy named Joe Apfelbaum, who is the man. And he's a fellow marketer, B2B marketer. And so I just had a podcast episode with him. I just needed to share it because why? Because it is my jam. I'm loving it. I love podcasts. They're fun. And there's a couple reasons, and I'm kind of trying to figure it out and distill it. And I'm kind of tired. So this is like tired Casey, but like super fulfilled, happy Casey, where I just spent an hour and a half talking to like a B2B marketing wizard who is also really good at personal development, which is another, like I'm big into that too, like Tony Robbins type stuff. He is like the Jewish New York Tony Robbins plus marketing. It's just, Joe's the man. But anyway, so I love these episodes. I have a blast and they inspire me. I learn, sometimes you think you know everything. I'm guilty of that. Maybe you're not, but sometimes I think I know everything. And then I've realized the best thing to do is to surround yourself with really smart people. And we actually talked about this on the podcast, the idea of, don't be threatened by people that you're around. In fact, be the dumbest person in the room because you're going to be learning left and right if you do. So that's kind of like what the podcast is, but it's in small doses. Because if I was in a room full of really smart people, by the way, that happens once a quarter on my company's quarterly board meetings. But if that's kind of a big dose. So a podcast is just like a one-on-one, and I learn so much about a particular topic. And sometimes it's multiple topics, but I learned a lot. And the episode will come out later. When is it being published? Great question. About a week. They come out in about a week, post-production. So it'll be out next Thursday. And it was just awesome. It was really cool. So what happened? I learned, and also connection. I really like people. And some people, if you know who I am, you might go, yeah, we know that. We knew that already. And I knew that too. But the podcast is kind of interesting. Like one-on-one with a person. Like usually you're distracted, right? There's the TV, or there's your phone, or even there's eating dinner, or whatever the case may be. But when you're one-on-one with a person, this is why dates are important, by the way, too. Date nights, unless you're sick. but one-on-one, but focused, and it kind of like, how can we do more podcast kind of conversations in our real life too? Talk about a tangent. That's a tangent for you. But the idea of like communicating like a podcast in real life, that one-on-one communication. I tell you what, my podcast is like they call it long form. It's not as long as maybe Joe Rogan, who's like 3 hours smoking weed, doing his thing. But it's hour and 10 minutes. And I do that because it's not Tim Ferriss, get in, extract maximum details from you, and then get out. It's more than that. It's about the person too. So I want to learn from these great wizards. And sometimes the wizards, they just have, like Andy Crestodina, I met with him. He had probably 10 hours of content. And so that hour got really short because I was like learning left and right. But I also want to hear about the person too and learn about the person I'm talking to. That's the fun part for me is learning some marketing stuff. And sometimes I know the marketing stuff already. Sometimes they simplify it for me when they're talking. And other times I have no idea. Some of the guys, the month we had on content blew my mind. Literally, it's crazy. And I learned so much. But also that human connection, just talking to someone else, and they may be on stage or they may be here or there, but you know what? They're real people and they have stories behind them. And whether it was someone who was going to school to be a rabbi and turned into a marketing CEO, or whether it was someone who traveled the world in a backpack and like traveled around China in a backpack and became a content marketer. There's all these amazing stories that people have, and those are kind of extreme, but everyone's got those sort of forming stories where they didn't start out this way. They started out some other way, and just over time they became something. And it's just really fun to discover that. So anyhow, wanted to share that with you. About 5 minutes of Casey just sharing how happy I am. And I would ask the question, I would end by saying, what is your jam? If you're not sure, I would encourage you to go find it. You know, there's 1,000 things you can try out. So go put some jam on your life and have a great day. All right, guys. See ya.